I think the question that you asked
What was the question?
Is it a good thing that God doesn't turn a blind eye towards sin?
Sick.
I'd say yes, that's a good thing because it shows his holiness. So he can't just ignore our sin. And so the consequences of our sin and God's discipline of sin show us his pursuit of justice. So God cannot just ignore sin and evil in the world because that would not show his true holiness. And so I think it's cool, like, how sanctification plays a role in that. Like, we continually become more and more like Jesus. And so we can see and acknowledge sin in our life and grow from our sin to reflect more of his character. And so as we pursue mercy and justice, like, in our own lives, like, we can extend that to other people around us too and, like, reflect that character of who God is to other people.
I think about this too from, like, a parent's perspective.
Yeah, I was just
about to go there. Tell me your thoughts, Bobby.
Yeah, no, you go. I want to hear your thoughts first. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to prompt you too, but, like, thinking about you, if you were to turn a blind eye to your son, if he did something wrong, or if he harmed another kid, like, what would that say about you?
Yeah, it would speak poorly to me. Like, I mean, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, letting, like, this is a real situation. My nephew, he got into a play fight at school, and, like, he got suspended. So my sister calls me and is like, "Hey, you need to talk to your nephew." And
Scared Straight program.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And I can straight up, like, and whether it's my nephew or my son, like, if they do something bad, if I ignore it, like, they're gonna continue operating in that mode of, like, hey, this is okay, this is fine, right? But then there's gonna be consequences that are going to happen, whether it is suspension or whether it is like stuff that's going to last, like, where, like, okay, hey, I've been fighting all my life, now, oh snap, a police officer or some adult is coming up on me and I'm 20 now and I'm going to beat him up or something like that. Then there's more consequences.
And you're back in the cop car for different reasons.
yeah, exactly. And so for me, it reflects poorly on me. And so like, so that's, like, my thought of, like, it's like, you know, it's like we got to train them, and, like, and that's, like, for God, for us, of, like, yeah, he can be like, hey, you continue sinning, because like the Bible does talk about like hardening of the heart as well, and that God is, like, giving people over to their sin, and it's like, that's scary. Like, I would never want that.
There are natural and eternal consequences to sin.
Exactly.
And, like, as a parent, if you were to let your child just sin left and right, not train them, that would be lazy parenting at best, neglectful and unloving at worst.
It's like,
she said it way better than I did.
It's like,
you gave me time to think.
Well, y'all were talking, it reminds me of Hebrews 12:6. It says, "For the Lord disciplines and corrects those whom he loves."
Yes.
Again, back to love.
That's such a good one.
And he punishment. And he punishes every son whom he receives and welcomes to his heart. But it all comes back to love. And it reminds me, I'm not a parent, but it reminds me of,
but you've had,
but I'm a son.
You are.
Come on.
But you've seen it on the other end.
Yes. No one else has, just me.
Just you.
But it reminds me of the stovetop.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. The
take it.
Yeah. So it's like for me, I have a son. 7, absolutely love him. But like, it's like, hey, if I'm cooking and he's going to touch the stove, like, hey, I'm going to, like, be like, I might slap his hand or something and, like, slap his hand away, because that's, like, my response, right? Because like, I don't want him
You're trying to protect him.
Yeah, I'm trying to protect him. And then it's like, I'm explaining the consequences to him of, like, hey, if you touch the stove, it's going to be hot, right? And you're going to get burnt. And we don't want that. That's why I did it. Or like, hey, you're running out on the street, I'm going to yank you back because, like, hey, there's a car coming, you can get hit. And so me yanking or me slapping the hand away is much lighter than you touching the stove or
getting hit by a bus.
Getting hit by a bus, because you're never going to be the same.
Collision.
It's like getting hit by a Mack truck.
You'll never be the same.
What a throwback.
Yeah, what a throwback. And so that's what I think. And like, even that, like, cause we're going through the Bible in a year, you know, like, and I'm like way behind. So I'm like walking through the life of Saul.
It's going to be the Bible in 3 years for you.
No, it's going to be the Bible in like a year and a couple months.
Oh, okay.
For me,
that's not bad.
Yeah, but like you know the story of King Saul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like how like the Lord like basically like the Spirit of the Lord left him and gave him over to his. That's scary. Like to think about that of like, man, like God is just, and if we keep operating in a way and keep on denying him, there might be a point where he's like, you know.
Yeah, and that's the key thing too. Is I think just even that itself shows, or like reveals a lot about him. In that one, it's not like a trick test or anything. Like like he lays out the expectations beforehand. He's like, hey, if you do this, bad things will happen.
Yep.
Like if you touch the stove, you're gonna get hurt.
Yep.
But then he also like you have the freedom, because that's how like love works and like relationships work.
Yeah.
You have the freedom to touch the stove at that point.
Yep.
But if you touch it and you get burnt, that's like sin in the equation. Like hey, like don't back to murder. Hey, like don't murder people. If you murder someone, you just sinned and you're going to jail. You're like, it's not him like even kind of like back to the commentary. It's not like arbitrarily just punishment, you know, for no reason. It's like, hey, like actually like this is just a consequence just because like the way like the universe is set up at this point. Like I built everything out this way.
Yep.
It's not because I don't love you. It's just because like you picked that. But also at the end of the story, I'll come in and I'll fix it because he's good like that.
Yeah. He's like, hey, like I put it like this way, like sometimes like in my life, it's like, you know that song, Jesus Take the Wheel?
Jesus take
I don't listen to secular music.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kat.
Yeah.
But like sometimes in my life, there's points where it's like, hey, Jesus, I want to take the wheel. But he's still in the car with me. And he's all like, hey, I'm calling an ambulance because you're going to crash this vehicle.
That's me. And then when I'm in the back seat when Kat's driving my car.
Come on, no.
Yeah. And so
don't
like,
throw me under the bus like that.
You shouldn't be driving my car with all. You were endangering our whole team's lives.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. You guys were all within the grip of safety.
I don't think I've ever driven with you.
It's a good
Kat is
time.
reckless.
No,
I'm
like
not
with,
reckless,
with
no.
her car, I think things are fine.
I like to,
but with
just
other people's
find
cars,
the
she likes to explore
Yeah.
the boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of the law.
Bro, no, I was
And your
within
safety.
the law.
Okay,
My
let
heart rate
me
was
get back to my analogy.
Quiet.
So
I'm still traumatized.
yeah, so my
You're weak.
analogy is that like there's times where it's like, hey, I want to take the wheel, and Jesus is in the back or in the car, still with me, and he's like, hey man, like you're gonna crash the car, you're going 200. There's a curve that's coming up. There's an ambulance in the back, and so it's like one of those things of it's like I am trying to take over instead of allowing Jesus to work through me, or the Holy Spirit to work through me, and trust Jesus. So that's what I was going to say.
Do you want to add anything to
thoughts?
that?
We
Yeah,
just
do you
talked
have
a
any
lot.
thoughts?
You're the
No,
guest.
those are great illustrations.
Thanks for having us on your pod, Maddie. Really appreciate it.
It reminds me of the illustration that we walk students through.
Yeah.
Come on.
Share that.
So
Share
maybe
that.
I'll just add that to like some of these illustrations that
Yeah.
we talked
Do it.
through.
Training
Yeah.
shout out.
But yeah, talking about how God is merciful and also just, something that we walk students through, kind of talking through what is the gospel,
Yeah.
is this illustration. So like we could just say, hey Aaron, like let's say you robbed a bank, right? Like
Not out of the question.
I just want. Why did
I
you?
know-
pick
I know
the
where you're
Jewish
going. Yeah,
guy
okay.
To rob the
I'm
bank?
just going with the illustration.
And she
Okay.
just picked you because you look like
Should
you
I
would.
pick cat? Should I pick cat instead? Should I pick cat?
No, we're
For
not
those
going
who
there.
can't
We are
see,
not going
My
there.
Aaron looks
We are not
Should I
going
change
there.
it? I'll pick
My
cat.
brother's
I'll pick
Jewish.
cat.
Okay,
Let's let
cat.
it make you feel better.
Let her
Cat,
continue.
yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead. Go
Cat
ahead,
robbed a
Maddie.
bank.
I'm the criminal now.
Cat robbed the bank.
Cat robbed
Cat
the-
Jenkins. You have the alias.
Yeah,
Of course
Cat
you're robbing the
Because
bank.
I'm a woman, isn't it?
Sorry. Take it away, Maddie.
Go ahead.
17 people witnessed it. Okay, we were all there.
Yeah.
The security cameras recorded it, and the police captured you in the act. So when you stand before a judge, you're gonna say, "Yep, I was wrong. I messed up." Right? And
I'm denying
even if it
all
was your
day.
first offense, like, what's a just judge gonna do? Are they gonna let you go?
Judge
Are
me
they
guilty.
Gonna, there you go.
Make
Throw
me
the book
pay
at
for
Yep,
that.
they're not gonna let you go, right?
No.
So the judge would send you to jail,
Yep. Sad.
to be in jail.
Straight
to
jail.
That's a fear of mine.
And so where we're going with students in this illustration is that the same Bible that shows us that God is merciful also shows that God is just. And he's not going to just let our sin go unpunished or just let us into heaven, right?
Yeah.
Like there is a punishment for our sin. And so I've seen this illustration like help students to gain a better perspective on like the mercy and the justice that we've been talking about.
And I did want to ask you, what are some of, like, when you interact with students, specifically on the justice of God, what are some of the stumbling blocks for them, or what are the questions that they ask you on this topic?
Yeah, that's great. I think a lot of times students struggle, and I think we struggle too, with like God's justice and only seeing that as punishment. And like there is a piece of like punishment for sin within that. But I also think like there's a piece of understanding his love within his justice as well. Like he cares for us so much that like he wants to pursue justice for us. And I actually had the same verse that you had, like that the Lord disciplines those he loves.
Hebrews 12.
Because like discipline is for our good. And later on in that passage, it says that God disciplines us so that we can share in his holiness.
Oh, so sick.
And so I think that's like a part that we all struggle with, like understanding and wrapping our minds around. But I think we're like continually growing in how we perceive justice. That it's not only punishment, but that it's also God disciplining us out of his love.
Yeah. And it's not cruel also, like is the thing too.